This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Hello, my name is Harrington Watco and welcome to our program. Our topic today is really for the development of mankind. And we got that topic sourced from President Xi Jinping in China when he delivered to that 2,300 people forum of all the communist leaders in China. However, before we delve into that and talk about the positive or negative points of view of President Xi, who seems to be, well, being classified as the top leader among the in the past 5 decades of China's 5 presidents in the last 5 decades. Before we go into that, I'd like to first delve on another topic which pretty much has a development of mankind, but more for the Filipino country. And that's basically CNG, or Citizens National Guard. Why that? Simply because our guest, who has been in this program and who's the founding chair of LaRouche Society International, who has held a TV show right here on GNN some years back, and who still chairs the movement, the international movement for LaRouche. His name's Butch Valdez, who's with us, and he will help us understand President Xi's role, his direction, where he's going, and whether it makes sense. But let's tackle that after. Butch, welcome to the show. Let's tackle first things first. Yeah. A couple of weeks back, I saw you on a Facebook page, and it came out in traditional media. You seem to have put up a new group, Citizens National Guard.
Right.
I won't talk about the personalities you had on stage kasi ako nagulat ako sa mga big time na nakaupo kagad sa'yo. Kalalaunch mo lang. But
Right.
what is the objective? What is the vision? What is the mission of the Citizens National Guard?
Well, first of all, Harry, the Citizen National Guard is actually a natural offshoot of another group which you're familiar with that we had started years ago, since 2005. This is the Save the Nation movement.
Oh, Save the Nation
Right,
movement,
yeah.
yes.
And from, it seems that different sectors, different people have been listening to the proposals that we've been making Save the Nation. And there was a particular group that signified their interest in it. And they came over and asking for a little expansion of what we were saying in Save the Nation. But in the course of our discussion, this was sometime in January of this year.
10 months ago.
Yeah. Even at that time, there was some apprehension on their part on the direction and the capability of the present administration to continue its 6 years or 5.5 years in office, because of the style and reforms that the president was pushing. They were saying that he's going to create many enemies. Right?
He already has, so
Right.
that's confirmed.
And that position has been confirmed. And yes, there are groups that will be trying to stop him. Now, And I said, in what way will he be stopped? And we discussed and discussed. And they said, so we came up to the situation that
Should that happen?
in case that happened, that he's been stopped one way or the other by an ouster, by a coup, or even by an assassination. And of course, by natural causes also, because anyone can have a heart attack. What do they do? And so that's the discussion. Now, the Save the Nation has more of an economic direction that we push. But the political thing is different. So what happens now, in case
There's a vacuum.
yeah, in case he suddenly leaves the scene, what happens now to all of that 80% of the people supporting him? Where do they go? No? That was the question. And in the discussion, we decided that maybe even now, since you cannot protect him, I said he's got his own security, despite the fact that they are retired military people, there is no longer capability to do any kind of military protection on their part. I said,
When you say save Citizens National Guard, is retired military, the retired military
no,
component?
just
or leadership?
one sector.
One sector, okay.
Citizen means all the citizens, right?
So the citizens are the people,
Yeah.
the 80%
Yes.
that want the country to grow, not the yellow tards.
Not
Okay.
well. The Yellow obviously they're critical of the president, right?
Yes.
So, and then I said, what can you do to keep those people believing in the direction that Citizen National Guard will push? Well, what is it that the president was able to inspire all of these people? I said the president inspired them first and foremost about his determination to declare sovereignty of the country.
Which he did.
Which
yeah.
he
okay.
did in a one single swoop, actually, right?
Well,
It is-
negating America
Yeah.
and bringing in China and Russia
Right.
was in one single
It was
swoop.
his style, and he says, we're no longer your colony. And then U.S. reacted, we were not going to give you U.S. aid. And he said, all right, I'm going to ask other friends.
Correct.
So he got China and Russia to help us. But that was very significant, right? And there was no one that I can remember in our own history, in more current history, no president ever stood up
To America.
and used these expletives to tell them
minura
to
niya si
go
Obama,
to hell.
no?
Go to hell. So, lumabas. Yan, sa akin, kung ako na-affecto dun sa kanyang, siguro marami din, no? Nagustuhan yung kanyang paninindigan na tumindig siya dito sa mga tao na hindi tayo alipin. Right?
Correct.
I said, that's one. Second, I said, what else does he say? He claims that he's protecting the population. In what way? By going after the drug lords, right? In a drug war.
Correct.
Because he says, if you kill my children,
I will
I
kill
will
you.
kill you.
Tama.
Right? And he says, what's wrong with that statement? There's nothing wrong or illegal with that statement. If you kill my children and my family, I will kill you. And that's simple enough for the people to understand and again get inspired because they know the impact of drugs, right? And then, of course, the third one. So the CNG came up with these objectives. Number one is to defend the integrity of the Sovereign Republic of the Philippines. Number
right.
two is to protect the population and assure a better future for the next generation.
Some type of continuity.
Continuity of the very same things that he's doing
That
right
he
now.
started, yes.
And the third, he said, is to support a duly elected president who happens to be Duterte and whose election, as far as I know, has not been questioned as the leader of this country. No?
Correct. Wala pa.
So, and of course, it's good that you are with the people when you say support the president, right? And so these three became the objectives of the CNG. Now, as the CNG, to help out the people, we identified 5 enemies of the state.
Okay.
Because you're defending the integrity of the republic, you're protecting the population.
Correct.
We identified 5 enemies of the state. Those that, if in conspiracy, the country will be under siege, and it is already now. Number 1 are the ISIS-inspired terrorists.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
They are forcibly taking territory, and therefore they have
They
to
tried
be,
with Marawi.
and they will do so probably in another area. Number 2 is the CPP-NPA, right?
Yes,
And they
yes.
have been continuously at war with the government.
50 years.
And their objective is, of course, to seize government or to take territory.
To take
much,
both.
not much different from the
ISIS.
ISIS-inspired terror. Number 3 are the drug cartels. These are the enemies that we are supposed to be at war with, no? Going into and destroying families. I would venture to say that there is probably not one family in the Philippines now which is not directly or indirectly affected by drugs. No? A niece, a son, a grandson, whatever, no? A brother, a sister, directly or indirectly. And once that family is affected by drugs, it has
It's
a
a cancer.
tremendous effect on
yes.
the family. And the family, as you know, is the basic unit of our society. And you destroy that, you destroy the country. So we have to go after these guys.
That's the third.
Number 4 are the opposition, and some of them are called the yellow tards.
Yes.
Why? Well, we think that they are so scared of going to jail because of the violations of the Constitution and other crimes that they had committed, including possibly being involved in drug syndicates, as more recently coming out now.
Oh, lumalabas. Who was that? Mar Rojas and Drilon. Di ba?
If that is true, my goodness. Huh?
Yeah.
So these are also enemies of the state. And number 5, the ones who seems to be weaving these groups into a conspiracy to overthrow.
Well, the funding coming from America, supposedly.
Well, it's the CIA,
Oh,
right?
the CIA.
And they originally have wanted to push that EDCA thing to convert the Philippine military bases into launching pads of nuclear missiles against China, putting 100 million people at risk.
Collateral damage tayo
Yes.
niyan pag magbanatan.
So that is also an enemy of the state. Now, once the people, I think, are able to identify who they are, no? Then, since we know who the enemies of the state are, you can solidify and consolidate the Filipino people, regardless of regional differences, hopefully regardless of ideological differences or religious differences, because we are one country, one flag, one nation. No? And this, although it is to others, maybe it is too idealistic, no? But maybe it's high time that
The idealism is properly in place. My question would be, how do you identify some kind of membership or following to make it effective?
we have a website which people have been calling in, and we also have my radio program every Sunday when people call in. And what we do is whenever there are registering people in the membership, we note them and confirm that it was they.
It was
no?
yeah.
And who else is?
So you're generating membership.
Right now,
the
we have
advocacy is-
about 25,000 already, a little more than that nationwide.
The purpose is to grow this in number, not necessarily to be aggressive, but to have a presence
Yes.
for awareness.
Awareness.
Not necessarily for purpose of rebellion or going on the street.
Yeah. No. We are supportive of the president because he's the duly elected, but we don't move to protect him, or we are not like what the leftists want to bring out when they heard about the CNG. They were coming out with things like, we are a paramilitary group that are going to be
Siniraan kaagad kayo.
assassinating opposition members. You have other agencies like Rappler, na, whom everybody knows is a CIA funded
Yes,
organization.
yes. Lumabas
through
yan recently.
Yeah, through the National Endowment for Democracy,
For
right?
democracy, yes.
Are again trying to badmouth us and make people believe something that we are not. No, we're just this organization, right? But to make people understand and bring up that and inspire people, the way President Duterte is doing it, inspiring them to a level of nationalism, and that maybe has long. I mean, we've long been waiting for, right? We always use the example of General Antonio Luna, for example, when he was castigating the members of the cabinet, saying, "What are you guys?
Yeah, what are you guys doing?
What are you guys doing? Bayan o sarili?" No, that kind of fervor. We will now, if you have an organization like this, which is not government sponsored, just supportive of the ideas of
Of the
President
current
Duterte,
government,
right?
yes, yes.
Even if the president is knocked off, no, you will still have the people thinking along the same lines.
So you expect this 25,000 to grow 100 times stronger,
Yes.
at least.
As the crisis heightens, right? Because we feel that the administration is under siege now. The whole objective of the enemies of the state, we think, is to remove Duterte by hook or by crook. And once you do that, the whole country collapses and into chaos. Chaos is the objective, not the takeover of some political group. Why? Because in a condition of chaos, all of those enemies of state which
Come
have
to
their
play.
own will be able to do what they want, right? It is only in that condition of chaos where that's going to happen.
Which is the real
the same
objective.
thing that is happening in Libya and Afghanistan and what
The
they
Middle
wanted
East,
to
yes,
do,
yes, yes, yes.
different countries. Right? That is the objective, and that is like a modus operandi.
How do
of
they
the
get to
state.
join the Citizens National Guard?
Well,
Go
you
to the
just-
website.
Just go to the website or just tell anyone. You can tell me, and I'll
Yes,
list you
okay.
down as
All
part
right,
of that,
all right.
right? And then an
Or reach out to
occasion-
me,
Yeah,
saying,
and then
yes.
we send you material.
Material for it.
On some statements and some positions that the CNG would like to take. We are not a. There is a big group now, different groups now, calling for revolutionary government.
Yes, there is.
right?
I read that.
And I can see why, because they can feel the pressure and the tension, and they can feel that all of these enemies of the state are starting to close in on the president. So they're getting him to hurry up then and declare a revolutionary government. Now, the point there is, in our case, rather than call for that, we wait for his decision. If he decides to go revolutionary government, then we support him.
You support him
Because
either
it
way.
is his decision, in this case, not ours, right? On the other hand,
But do you support the revolutionary government?
personally,
Yes.
I can see the reason why there should be,
Okay.
right?
We're going to have to take a break there, Butch. Ladies and gentlemen, we have explained to you the Citizens National Guard. So this is not what the opposition say, or the rumor mongers, or the faker news establishment that try to promote chaos. Understand what it is. If you wish to join, you wish to participate, and you have generated that kind of awareness, look for it on the website, or look for Butch Valdez on the website. If necessary, you may email me and reach out, and we'll pass the information along. When we come back, however, I would like to stretch it a little bit more further outside the country and onto the world. Because after all, the development of mankind, how I feel it is linked to the Citizen National Guard, is the development of the betterment of the 80% of the populace that voted for the singular president in what we call a democratic process, of which the yellow tards or the past administration, I guess, obviously do not agree with. Miski ginamit na nila Smartmatic and EB and all the money and whatnot, natalo pa rin sila kasi yung mga tao tumayo na.
Tumayo na.
Tumayo na at wag na tayo uupo uli. Babalik po kami right away.
That's right.